You're stuck with it forever. Learn how to manage it. Take these pills or this injection. That's what we're told when we're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Are they right? Stick around, we're going to talk about it. Hello everyone, SemiRetiredBob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. Today we're going to talk about type 2 diabetes and whether or not it can truly be reversed. First, let me say welcome to all the new people. I'm glad you're here. You may be asking yourself, Bob, what in the world am I watching here? Well, basically you're watching me walk. That doesn't seem super exciting until you realize a little over 14 months ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand for 2 to 2.5 minutes without severe pain. Now I'm out here walking every day. The whole point of this is to show you it's never too late to change your life. I'm 60 years old. I started the carnivore diet the day before my 59th birthday. And this is the results I've gotten in 14 plus months. For all of those returning to the channel, welcome back. I'm glad you're here as well. It means an awful lot to me that you spend just a little bit of your day with me watching my videos. But let's just jump right into this thing. Can type 2 diabetes be reversed? For everyone? I don't know. All I can go on is my N=1 experiment. That's me. When I was first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, my A1C was 10.3. That's pretty high if you know anything about diabetes. It's not the highest I've heard of by a long shot, but that's getting up there in the you're gonna die range. And I, took the drugs they told me to take and followed the diet they told me to follow. And all that did was lead me to a triple bypass surgery about 5 years later. Certainly didn't lose any weight. And yeah, the drugs they were giving me had my A1C controlled at, if it got below 7.5, my doctor would say, good job. And if it got below, if it got above 7.5 but was still down, below 8, he's like, well, that's a little high. You probably ought to work on that. But of course, he had no real advice on how to work on that. He just said you need to work on that. And it was just, more of the same. And you can watch the rest of my backstory, find out how I spiraled. After I took care of Mom for a year, I spiraled a little bit and was basically just sitting around the house waiting to die. But anyway, I found the carnivore diet, and what has happened to me? Well, I just got my labs back about a week and a half ago, and I had taken them before at about the 6-month mark. I now have two, about 8 months apart or so now. I have two A1Cs, both checking in at 4.8. And I'm not taking any drugs. Now, people will say, well, you just got it controlled because you're not dumping carbs down your neck every day. Well, that may or may not be true. I can't tell you for sure. But what I can tell you is that I'm reactive to insulin again, and have been for quite some time. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again really quick. Thanksgiving last year, I went to my cousin's house, and I was planning on having a little dessert. I stuffed myself full of meat. Should have probably just stopped, but I had convinced myself that It's Thanksgiving and I'm with cousins I haven't seen in 20 plus years. I'm gonna have a piece of pie. I ended up having a small slice of pecan pie and a couple of pieces of pumpkin spice cake. It was all pretty darn good. And you know, since I ate that last piece of pumpkin spice cake just as we were getting ready to head out to the cars, we got in the car, went over to back to my other cousin's house where I'd parked my truck. And then I got in my truck and drove back out to where I had my trailer parked. That all took, it was between 2.5 and 3 hours. And I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and check my glucose reading. So I did a finger stick. And to be honest, I don't remember. It was either 86 or 88. But either way, that means that just 3 hours after finishing a huge Thanksgiving feast, which included, you know, 3 kinds of brisket, ham, turkey. There was something else. I can't remember. There was a pile of meat. And then those 3 desserts. 3 hours later, my blood glucose was at either 86 or 88. I don't remember which. But that's pretty darn good for a so-called diabetic. Somebody that has the disease that supposedly can't be cured or reversed. And that's a pretty good insulin reaction. Now, how much insulin it took to achieve that, I don't know. But the reaction seems pretty clear to me. I have reversed type 2 diabetes. And now, I'm going to give you the secret to reversing your type 2 diabetes in 3 easy steps. Step 1, eat the meat with its associated fat, preferably the muscle meat of large ruminant animals. But any fatty meat will do. Step 2, salt to taste. We have a very good receptor called our tongue. It's pretty good at gauging how much salt we should be using. If it tastes like it needs a little bit more salt, go ahead and add a little bit more salt. If it tastes like it's too salty, back off the next time. If it tastes just right, that's probably the amount of salt you should be putting on your food. Works out pretty good that way. Step 3, drink water. That's it. That's all you have to do. Now, that doesn't mean add meat and salt and water to your diet. It means stop eating everything else until you get your type 2 diabetes under control. And then you can add back some different kinds of meats, some cheeses, other stuff. You know, whatever you want basically that's within the carnivore diet. You're probably going to want to stay carnivore or at least ketovore. You know, a meat-based diet with, if you're really hung up on veg, go ahead and have a little bit of low-carb veg. I don't think anybody ever got diabetes from eating broccoli. That's it. That's how easy it is for most people. I'm not going to say it's going to work 100%, and if you're on diabetic medication, make sure you work with either your doctor or some other healthcare professional that can advise you on how and when to start cutting your drugs back. Don't just say, oh, I'm not eating carbs anymore, so I'm going to stop my drugs. That's a bad thing to do. It's dangerous. So please don't do that. Consult with your physician. I do want to give a little update. You guys are going to see this on Monday, but it's actually Sunday after I worked an insanely busy shift last night out at the miniature golf course in the hot and humid Nebraska sun. So I am out here walking after just having worked last night. But the walking challenge, I added it up, and as of this morning, which is Sunday morning, even though you guys are going to see this on Monday, we got 1 week to go, and I am so astonished and pleased to report we are now at 2,050,000 steps as a channel for the July Walking Challenge. Did anybody else think we might actually get to 2 million steps? I was thinking maybe we'd get close to 1 million steps. But you guys are all stepping up, doing a great job getting your walking in to progress yourself towards functional movement. I had a question via email last night, so perhaps I haven't been super clear about this, but let me be clear right now. The get-together here in Omaha is Thursday. It starts at 2. You can show up a little early if you want, but you don't have to. It's going to be hot. They're calling for 101 degrees that day. But he asked, the emailer asked if there would be a no bun option. There's not going to be a bun option. This is a carnivore get-together. If you want buns for your hamburgers, you have to bring them. I'm going to cook burgers. I'll have paper plates. I'll probably have a thing of yellow mustard in case you want a little yellow mustard on it. But I'm going to grill the burgers. Paper plates. I will have some forks if you want to eat it with a fork. But I expect most of us to eat them in true carnivore fashion. Pick them up with our hands and shove them in our face. And I'm going to get some bottled water because it's going to be hot that day. Don't forget to bring some electrolyte drops or something with you. Yes, it's going to be hot that day, but yeah, there's not going to be any buns unless you bring them with you. If you really want, if you're still a carboholic, you're welcome to come, but you have to bring your own buns because I'm not putting any cheese on them. I'm going to lightly salt them because I know I use a lot of salt, but some people don't. So I will lightly salt the burgers, but I will have a tub of salt there so that you can add salt to taste. You can add a little mustard if you want it. And it's grilled over, they're going to be grilled over a charcoal fire, not over gas. It's going to be charcoal. So if you have any other questions, now's the time. Get in the comments or jump in my email, SemiRetiredBob@yahoo.com, because that's coming up this Thursday, 2 o'clock at Putting Plus here in Omaha, Nebraska. It's 9216 West Maple Road. Come on out, have some fun. That's what I've got for you today, folks. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.